Hi, my name is Madison Fitch, and I decided for my final internship project that I was going to do human resources. Now, human resources is very important and I feel plays a very vital role in any company and in any job. So I decided that I was going to pursue a career in human resources in more of a business or corporate setting because that's kind of more of the side that I'm interested in, and I'm more interested in business, and that's why I decided to choose that type of role. Once again, human resources is really important, and I felt that it was really interesting, so that's why I decided that that was the type of career that I was looking to pursue, and that was the job that I wanted to intern with. So my mentor is Kelly Lindemann, and she's the Senior Vice President of Human Resources at Bank of America. She's more in the Merrill Lynch side of things, but as a whole, her company that she works for is Bank of America. So in the pictures on my slide, you can see me and her together, and in the second picture, she's here helping me with different projects and showing me different meetings and different tools on her computer, which I thought was really interesting. And my mentor, once again, was super helpful, and she was just really good at helping show me what I was supposed to do and just give me a lot of insightful information on the job and human resources as a whole, which I really appreciated, and I think it really helped me sway my opinions to wanting to be in human resources, which it also helped me kind of look more forward to pursuing that career as an option. So notes and communication were definitely a very important role and had a big impact on my interning. And as you can see in the first picture, there's my notes. And in my notes, I just mentioned different specific things and different things that I noticed, different things that we did. So I have different notes such as how she had good communication with her team, which is obviously super important for human resources, since most of the job is communicating with other people and making sure that all the employees that are under the company are happy and, doing what they're supposed to be doing. I also wrote down different sites that had good information on them, and also commented on how she speaks confidently, especially on phone calls and different items like that. And she's just really good with communication, and I think that it showed to me how important that is for the job in human resources. On the second picture, I have just over most of the time we did communicate through text, and that was a big helpful tool for us to use. And I thought that it was really nice because my mentor was really good at communicating and getting back to me. Anytime that I had a question, she was really great at responding quickly and giving a lot of good, insightful information and just answering my question really well. So as you can see in that second picture, there is just her helping me with, this was before my process speech, and I had a few questions on the process and, I needed a little bit more detail into them because, it's better to ask someone who is physically in the field than to ask Google. So she definitely helped me with that. She gave me a step-by-step information on the process, and I thought that that really helped a lot for me. In the second part of the notes and communication, you can also see that she was helping me. I had questions on different sites that she used at her company and different tools and information that was needed. And one of the great tools that she showed me that she uses and how to use is Workday, which is a tool that's super great for kind of finding out info about employees who are in the company and if they deserve a raise or if, they're doing their job correctly, just different items like that. So I thought that website was really interesting and really cool to look at. On the second picture on this side, I was also just asking her more about the termination of employees and the correct way to do it, if there was any information that needed to be done as a human resource and stuff like that, just to make sure that I had all my information correct and that all my sources were right. So what we did during the internship. So my mentor was mostly doing remote work, so she kind of just let me at her house into her home office, and pretty much all the meetings were over Zoom or conference call or phone call. So I mostly just sat in and got to kind of shadow her and watch her calls and stuff like that, her different Zoom meetings, everything in between. So in the beginning of the day, we went over emails, and she could not stress enough how important it was to kind of make sure that you're going over emails, making sure you're replying to people, communicating well, making sure that you see everything, go through all the emails. That's the first thing that you should do in the beginning of the day as HR. And also in emails, there was also information about different meetings and stuff that were happening during the day. So it was really important to check over those and make sure that you're not missing important meetings or deadlines. So the next thing we did was communicate with other coworkers. And once again, I cannot stress enough how much communication as HR is so important. And it's important to just always make sure that you're talking with others, getting your points across, making sure that everyone understands what's going on during the day or just during the work period at the company. So a lot of what we did, once again, was host and join meetings. There was a lot of Zooms over the day, and it was kind of a really busy day communicating with a lot of different people, which I thought was really interesting, and it was cool to see that it was constantly like going and going and going, rather than just sitting at your desk. So what we did was we also went over different job applications, and we kind of looked over who was being hired or who was thought about being hired. And my mentor, as being in HR management, she has a lot of the say in who gets hired or who gets fired, which I thought was really interesting. And she also let me sit in. One of my favorite parts was we interviewed a potential employee or a new hire. And that was really cool to me because I'd never seen an interview in a work professional setting like that before. So it was really nice to see how that worked. And then I also appreciated how she let me take notes and kind of put in input on the interview and what I thought about it and if I would hire him and different stuff like that. So I thought that was really interesting, and I like that she really let me put in like my word and my opinion into things. So the process that I decided to do, because I thought it was the most interesting, was on firing an employee, more specifically in the state of California, but knowing how to fire an employee no matter what is important, and it has the same basic steps. So the first step to firing an employee is going to be a verbal counseling or coaching, and that's when the employee is sat down and told what they've done wrong and that they're being thought about being fired. So after that, there's going to be a 60-day time period, and this 60-day time period is very important because, especially in the state of California, they want to make sure that employees are able to kind of improve and better themselves rather than just getting fired and kicked out. So after those 60 days, after the verbal counseling, there's going to be a verbal warning. Now, this is essentially the same thing as the verbal counseling, except for everything that's told to the employee is written down just to make sure that there's enough documentation and information on how the employee or why the employee was being fired. After the verbal warning, there's another 60-day time period, and if the employee doesn't improve, then there is going to be a written warning. So this written warning is really important because this is some strong, sturdy information and documentation on how the employee was going to be fired, and they just sturdy documentation that they were let know why they were being fired. After the written warning, there's another 60-day time period, and if the employee doesn't improve again, then there's going to be a final written warning. Now, after that final written warning, that's the last straw. There's another 60 days, and if the employee doesn't improve at all or just doesn't better themselves during those final 60 days, then it will lead to termination. Now, in human resources, termination is an important part, and we play as human resources an important role in the termination of an employee because we have to make sure that all the paperwork is filed the correct way and that the employee was known way beforehand that they were going to be fired. Because if they're not known or there's not enough documentation, then the employee could always sue for wrongful termination. And no company wants to be sued by an employee for wrongful termination just because someone didn't do their job correctly. So the most important question after this project and this big internship is, would I pursue the career of human resources as a career? And my answer to that is a strong yes. I really am really interested in this job, and I think that it's really important and plays a big role in companies. And I think that I would really like to pursue it as a career. My mentor also helped me a lot with deciding on whether I wanted to do this job or not, because she was really helpful, and I just really appreciated how much she put time and effort into this internship, and I just thought that it was really amazing and I learned a lot from it. So my contact information is up here. There's my name, my number, and my email. And if there's any questions, comments, concerns about human resources as a whole, or just my presentation in general, you can go ahead and contact me. And learning about human resources was something that was really interesting and something that I would really like to pursue as a career. This project was super insightful and really helped me into what I want to do when I finally decide to get a job. Thank you.